Welcome back to Voice of the Founding Fathers, and I'm your host, Dr. D. Lee Pippin. And today I want to discuss a very unusual trend that's not being talked about a lot on national news. For the first time in history, people are leaving the U.S. Migrants, I will repeat, are leaving the U.S. because this is no longer a country for the dreams. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the dreamers, who we have promised through 3 presidents in this country, that we were going to fix their status issue, their limbo. People that have basically were brought here to the United States when they were children, so no control of their own. The only country they've ever known, or almost known, is the United States. The only language most of them speak is English. They have absolutely no connection back to their home country. And we, the American people, had promised that we were going to find a solution for that situation. Because in all rights and respects, they're Americans. This is their country. Some of them have joined the military. They're in our colleges. They become doctors. But their entire status has been kept in a limbo, similar to TPS, which is temporary protected status. Well, there's a new article out, and it states that many of them have just given up hope on America honoring its promises and helping them live their American dreams. And they're going back to whatever home country it was without having ever been there in their entire adult life and most of their childhood. But it's because that's the only place that they'll have some kind of legitimacy. And only God knows how they'll be treated. They'll probably be ostracized in many cases because they won't know the language per se. They won't really have a lot of family there if they have family there. And this is a failure on the American people. And this is a failure of our government. I am so tired of the sanctimonious lies. It's time for action. Which brings us to another article that was out today. And that article came from Rick Scott, who is the head of the Senate Republican Committee for Re-elections and new elections from the Republican Party, that said the midterm, it was an extreme disappointment. And he admitted the same thing as the reason this disappointment happened as what I've been telling you all for the last couple of months when we've been talking on this subject. Everyone's tired of hearing you talk about the opposition and how horrible they are, but not hearing what you're actually planning on doing to make a difference or to be different. So if you have no plan and all you're doing is making an attack on someone else, for the most part, the American people can see through that. And I'm sure you've noticed, as of this morning, the Senate is actually in Democratic control still. They have 50 seats, and Georgia is still up. So if they get Georgia, they'll have 51, plus the vice president makes 52. No, they do not have the 60% that they need to be able to control. But they kept the Senate, which Republicans said would never happen. And the big red tide coming in through the House didn't happen either. So right now, there are several contested or uncertain elections because they're too close to call around the country. But we know the Republicans may take the House. Right now, they're at 211. The Democrats have 205. Those are confirmed. It takes 218 to control the House. So one side needs 7 more. The other side needs 13. But pay close attention to those numbers, because there's no big tide flowing over the top. There's no huge, we're going to change the world because we don't believe in what's happening. Because it's not true. And the American people have become smart enough to know there's a difference between propaganda and facts. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of people voting based on propaganda. I mean, there were some elections that happened that I'm still flabbergasted about. But then again, you take a look at the territories where they were elected from, and you go, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if Jesus came down from heaven and ran against that person. He would lose because they're blinded by party. Now, my family has been a devout Republican for generations, which was very unusual in the South. And we were taught, though, from my grandfather, who learned from his grandfather, never vote just party. Never be a Fleming. Vote intelligently. Vote with your conscience. Vote for the right person. Because it won't make any difference what party they're from if they're just and moral, because they'll do the right thing. And somehow, just and moral have not been big topics in politics recently. So I'm proud of how everyone got out to vote. I'm disappointed in how our government has failed to act. I'm disappointed in so many things being left on the table unfinished because people are more interested in party politics for talking points in the media than they are actually in running our country. And that's the problem we have. Anyway, thank you for listening. Remember to touch for subscribe, touch for notifications, touch for your like, and come back and see us again real soon. Thank you and have a great day.